Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. I'm really happy you are here joining me today as I continue on working with Junk Journal January 2025, hosted by Meg Journals. And again, I have all of that information or Meg's original video listed in the description box below if you're just tuning in for the first time. And I'm continue on today, and we are already to day 17. I just can't believe how fast this is going this month. And today's prompt is fragile. So when I thought about fragile, a couple of different things came to my mind, like fragile paper, like a fragile heart. People can be fragiles, like babies, stuff like that. So I had those kind of things in my head as I was running through my craft room trying to find some things, because again, I'm trying to just use anything that I've already had printed, or in my current craft room I'm not trying to print off anything new. It's just a little side challenge for me just to use what I already have in my stash. And so this was yesterday's, which was Unfold, but I decided I should probably put in another piece into my signature. And I had already made this one before in the past, and I didn't use it in a book or a journal. And so this one was made with some really fragile paper. It's older, it's vintage. I don't think it's antique, but it was vintage. And as you can see, it's kind of lightweight and fragile. So I thought that'd be good to start with for my base layer. And I already connected the two pieces because it was fragile in the past with some scrapbooking paper and some washi tape. I'm not really sure I'm crazy about this color for today, so I think I'm going to color or hide it. But then also I pulled out from my stash, and I'm not quite sure what language this is in. And a long time ago, I think like 20 years ago, someone shared this with me, and I don't even remember who it was, in a swap that I did. And all I remember is that it was like a secret pal swap, and we had asked for different things, and I had just said I wanted some stuff to collage with, was all. And she had sent me this, and it does have a date that says 1898, and I think it has some names. Again, they're in other languages, and I can't quite pick out everything. I'm suspecting it might be like a Scandinavian type language, but I'm not quite sure. But it has all this beautiful writing in it. You can see I've already used some pieces. It was falling apart when I got it, and there's even actually some in the back that are starting to fade. And so I thought, well, this is also very fragile paper to work with. I tried once to use it like as a page, and it was just too fragile. So again, I thought that was perfect for today's prompt. So I did pull out one of the scraps that I had in there from before. And then I also just pulled out a scrapbooking piece of paper from my stash that kind of matched with yesterday's stuff. It was a blue. It doesn't match 100%, but it's close enough. And then I also pulled out, because I had to trim this down to make this fold and fit in there the other day. So I pulled these two scraps out, and I'm hoping that I could glue down one of these and it would cover this at least enough to not make it that dark blue. So that's the first thing I'm going to do today, is just glue that down. I think that scrap works. And I know I didn't quite finish my thought on this, but I'll get back to that one. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff but before I forget, I want to glue this piece down, because I really don't like that dark blue there today on the edge. So hopefully everyone is doing well. I'm having a good day so far. Don't have as much time as I would like in my craft room today. I'm actually going to go out and fish with my husband this evening, or later this afternoon. So I'm trying to get my video done for today. Usually I try and go out with him, once a week or once every 10 days. I do like to fish, but of course crafting I prefer crafting more than fishing, but it's a little bit warmer today, so it'd be a good day for me to go out and fish. And he went out the other day and had a really good day fishing, so So it should be fun. It just, sometimes it's just fun to sit out there and we listen to the ice crack and just, you know, spend some time chatting while we're waiting for fish to bite. And sometimes we get bites and sometimes we don't. So anyways, what I'm thinking of doing, since this paper is fragile, I don't want to just glue it on top of this. There's just not enough of a contrast. That's why I grabbed this scrapbooking paper. And this does have like some vintage advertising on it. But again, this piece isn't old. But I was thinking maybe I could just glue it, you know, somewhere here in the middle and just use it as a pocket. And then yesterday I had this little piece of ephemera that I didn't use, and it's like an old document. So I suppose you could say like old documents could be fragile, or old letters. But it's, you know, again, just a scrapbooking piece of paper or something that came in an ephemera pack. But I did sew around the edges and ink the edges because I was thinking I could stick that in the pocket. And I was going to decorate the pocket a little bit more. I have this old fragile doily. It's a vintage doily and it's kind of falling apart. So again, it fits the theme. So I thought I could do some sort of layering. I also found a little baby photo that was in my grandma's scrapbook. And we don't know who the baby is. My mom didn't know who it was. So it was probably a relative or not a relative. It's not a relative, she didn't think, but probably a neighbor or somebody. It's, you know, an old photo, and babies are fragile. So I thought it would fit, again, for today's theme. So I thought I could do something with that. I also pulled out a couple of hearts that I had in my stash. This one came from Hobby Lobby, and this one was one I punched. I have a ton of these that I punched. I went a little crazy and punched a bunch of paper hearts. And so I kind of am thinking one of these maybe somehow layered behind the baby, just a little peek of it. And as much as I love the lace one, I think I'm probably going to go with the book page one, because that one just really doesn't pop. You can't really see it. You know, maybe I could put it down here. Wonder what that would look like. You know, just as a little decoration maybe here down in the corner. It's actually kind of funny, the scrapbooking paper I just saw as I was doing it. It says sore heart on there. So it's kind of funny that you can see that. I kind of actually like that. I kind of like that. You know, this will get cut off. And then I also pulled out, I'm making some other things that I'm working on with this lace right here. And this is old lace that one of my viewers, Mona, gave to me. So thank you, Mona. You probably don't recognize it because I am using it on another project, but these are the scraps on it. And so I thought these might, because, you know, this is kind of a vintage looking layout, that maybe I would just put a little piece, you know, somehow around this little baby. Because again, it's older and, you know, clothing does fall apart, and this one isn't quite fragile yet, but it is vintage. It's old, and it came off of she had gifted it to me, and it was like half of like a piece of clothing. It looked like maybe a little jacket of a little child or a baby. So again, it kind of seems appropriate because it kind of matches the little baby thing that's maybe going on here. So again, thank you, Mona, for that little piece if you're watching. That she shared, because it was like she shared like half of it with me, like she cut it down the middle in the back or something. So it's working good for my other project that I'm working on. So but again, I just had those scraps this is not a lace I'm gonna throw away. I will use every last little piece because I know it's old and it's vintage and it's a beautiful color. So and it was gifted, you know, a nice little piece was gifted with me. I can't really remember. It might have been a piece, you know, like a family heirloom type piece, or a piece that, you know, belonged to her family. So I'm always very gracious when people want to share things like that, because I know how precious they are. So first thing I think I'm going to do is glue this down onto the pocket. And then I think I'm going to do a little edging. I'm going to rip a little bit on the edge. I know a couple of times I've tried to use this like on a collage where I've used like a matte medium over it and the ink bleeds. I've had that happen to me a few times if I'm not careful, like, or even what type of glue I use on this paper. It has bled on me so that the ink does bleed if it gets wet or has anything too wet on it. But I've learned now over time that the glue stick is the best thing for it, and to and to glue it down on something, because otherwise it's just not going to, it's gonna rip, because it was pretty fragile paper. So I'm just ripping this. I'm trying to somewhat keep to the same line of, and I don't know if I want to rip it on the edges here too. I think I'm just going to leave that, but let me find my little Distress ink. Just kind of make that a little darker, I think. We'll just rip that edge a little bit to make it not so harsh. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. All right, and then while I'm gluing, let's glue down part of this doily here. Just need to decide how I want to orientate it on here. I think I kind of like that. And I know the white on white's really tough for you guys to see, so I do apologize about that. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit, and then I'll trim it more once I get it glued down, but just to make it a little bit more manageable. Yeah, I love using little bits and pieces of doilies, so it doesn't bother me when I get them and they're already falling apart and fragile. These were some, I think my mom, she got a little grab bag at the thrift store, and some of them were vintage. They were quite old, so that's kind of fun. So yeah, I'll probably end up cutting a little bit more of it off, but it's just nice to have a little bit more here to start with. Again, I'm just going to use the glue stick here, because I think that's going to be the best. You know, it's already breaking on me, which that is okay. Sometimes I think it's meant to be when stuff like that happens. You know, this is a fragile theme for today, so I guess the fact that it's kind of coming apart as I'm adding glue to it is maybe appropriate. And I'll touch it up if I have to here once we get it on my page. I was hoping to avoid that it wasn't going to fall apart, but I've used this one before, and I kind of suspected that it was going to do that. So, but like I said, sometimes you just have to run with it, even if it breaks apart on you. So I was trying to use a side that wasn't broken yet on that doily, but that's okay. And I think I'm just going, since there's enough glue on this, I'm just going to fold it over onto the back side. Instead of trying to cut it off, I'm just going to fold it over. So this little piece is going to be stubborn, I think, but we'll try and carefully add some more glue and see if we can get it to glue down. So I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit more for you guys. For whatever reason, just these light colors, these neutral colors, just are not showing up very well today on the camera. All right. Hopefully that's good enough to stay down now. I think the rest of it's good. All right. So that's going to get glued on here, and maybe I'm just going to run over it just lightly with, kind of got lost on the scene, but that's okay. I was just seeing if I can make it pop a little bit but I think I'm just making more of a mess and it's wanting to come up. But that's okay. I know it's on the background and when you see it in person, but I just don't know that, you know, unless you're looking at it close, you're gonna necessarily see it on the camera. But you guys saw me glue it down, so you know it's there. So I'm gonna glue this, I think, down. before I do anything else to it. And I'm just going to glue it on the 3 sides since I'm making a pocket. Seems like there's quite a few people doing this Junk Journal January challenge. I've seen quite a few videos, and then, you know, I try and watch, you know, when I eat my breakfast in the morning, I try and watch 1 or 2. I just kind of do a search for it and pop it up. I wish I could watch everybody's. But there seems to be a lot of people doing it. And I always try and look for the people that maybe haven't had as many views as the rest of some of the more popular people here on YouTube. I just like to try and support the smaller channels. Even if I don't leave a comment, I try and look for the ones that don't have as many views. All right, so that's good, I think. And again, I'm going to stick this in there, so I'll go ahead and do that. And I really like that idea of this down here. And I'm going to make it so that you can see the word heart. And I actually might grab, let me see if I have a little pen. I'm going to circle it, I think. You know, just circle it a couple of times. Just, I think that's kind of cool. And that was random. I just took I knew I wanted this size because I have several sizes. They were from like a Sizzix die cut, and I cut a ton of them. And I just took the top one. I knew what size of the ones I wanted. I wanted the biggest one that they had, but that's just funny that, you know, that it had the word heart on it. I think I have to use a little thicker glue though for this one. Yeah, and these little hearts, they just come from, they have lace on them, and they're like maybe on like some thicker canvas or something. These ones you can find in, or I bought it at the wedding section in Hobby Lobby, where you can find the crafty wedding stuff. I don't know if they still have them. It's been a while since I've walked down that aisle. But that's where I found it if anybody's interested. And maybe just because I'm having a hard time seeing this, maybe I'll just kind of outline it just a little bit with this black pen, just to make it pop just a little bit more. You know, if I would have made my own, I probably would have done like a slightly different color of lace or something on it to make it pop a little more, but I think that works just fine. It just makes it pop and you can see it. So we are going to add this baby somewhere here in the corner. And I want to make enough room on the baby to add a little bit of lace, and then I think we're done for today. So that's good. I just want to glue just a little hint of it. And that actually kind of fits even around the heart, but I think I'm going to not do quite that much. I think I'm just going to do around the edge of the baby. I don't know. I'm tempted to put a little eyelash lace. This is a little too much. I'll cut it down, but I just have scraps sitting on my desk, but I'm tempted to put down just a little bit of that underneath it when I glue it down. You guys know I love my eyelash lace. I try not to put it on everything, but it's always one of those things that when I feel like I need something else, that's usually what I add, because it's just kind of an easy, especially if I'm adding lace or behind a photo or something. Just trying to decide which little sector I like. You know, I like that this one frames it, but I don't want to cover the heart. So I just want a little piece off to the side of this fun little photo. And of course, it's always fun when I can use something from my grandma's old scrapbook. I have 2 of them. I have one that she did, that she started like kind of the beginning of the World War II. And That one's mostly just has some postcards, and there's a couple photos in that one. And then I have another one that she had of photos of people, and that one my mom somewhat took apart. She took out any photos of relatives, and she gave them like to her cousins, like they might have been pictures of their families. So she kind of shared those with them, and then anybody else that my mom had no clue who they were, she gave to me. So I'm thinking I'm just kind of lightly setting this down so I still have a little chance to move it around. I wish now maybe I would have stuck it under the photo. What do you guys think of that? No, I don't. I think I just want to put it up here. I'm going to use my hands to push it down instead of my fingers just to avoid a few a few little fingerprints on it, I guess. Now I don't know. Now I might change my mind to which piece I want now that it's actually glued down. Just trying to visualize if I use that one where I would cut it off at. You know, I keep on being drawn back to this one, and I'm wondering if I do that, if I just maybe cut the bottom half off. See, yeah, I like that one. I'm going to use that one. Okay. All right, so we'll just put a little bit of glue. I do want to put a little bit of the eyelash trim down, so I'm just going to see if I can get that to attach in a couple of spots just before I add a little bit of this trim down. Yeah, that's kind of cute. So I like that one. I like how that one turned out. Oh, I need to stamp my number. And I didn't do that yesterday either, guys. Nobody reminded me. And I thought yesterday I had one on here ready to go. So I don't know what happened to that one. Yeah, because yesterday's I had, I'm looking through my pile that's sitting here. I had like a book page that I used to stamp, because yesterday was what yesterday's was day 16. So I wonder where that went. So I guess I have to finish yesterday's I didn't do, and then also today's. So I need to add a 16 on there and a 17. So I still have the 16 sitting on my rubber stamp. So we'll do that first, because I was gonna put it underneath the Oh, oh well, it happens. So, well, at least I didn't glue down too well, I guess, so I can just kind of slip this down the edge. Nothing like finishing up yesterday's today, huh? Yeah, that'll work. I'll grab the 7 so I can stamp 17 for today. And then I'll be done with this one. I'll have to think about where I want to put that one. Or if I just want to stamp it on the page, I could do that too. All right. So that one now is finished. So that's not good that I forgot about that yesterday. So I'm just going to just hold this up, and I'm going to change, I better change out the number right away just in case. And again, I'm just using this little stamp set that I bought. I think it came off of Amazon. Usually I clean them, you know, and then I have them lined up, and then I grab them. You know, I line them up on my mat on the lines, but I don't. See if I can do it without stamping my mat. This is permanent ink. Close enough, I guess. That'll work. You know, I would have liked it in a different spot than, you know, this one's up on the top. So I think I'm going to try and stamp it right down here in the corner. There, that works. All right, now I'm back on track again. I'm sure somebody noticed yesterday that I haven't looked at comments, so I'm sure somebody noticed that I forgot to stamp the number 16, because I did have a book page already stamped with it, you know, so I must have got lost somewhere on the desk. But I really like that. Those two layouts look really cute together. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. So again, that was Fragile. And it looks like tomorrow's theme is bright. So I'm thinking bright colors. So hopefully I will see you guys all back again tomorrow for another episode. And until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.